Chapter 19: Automobile and Motorboat Camping. Little difference exists between automobile and motorboat camping when it comes to methods and equipment. Each vehicle has so much capacity that those who want can take along many of what they consider to be comforts and the labor-saving conveniences of the big town. The route back to the provisioner is usually so short in time, at least, that the camper need not deny himself fresh meat, vegetables, nor his choice of the more perishable fruits. He can even have refrigeration. Some localities where camping is possible impose certain restraints on both motorist and boatmen. On both motorist and boatmen. Public campgrounds may not permit wood fires nor the cutting of boughs for beds or poles for tents. They usually require a type of shelter that affords privacy. A few hours of travel, on the other hand, will often take you into wilder country where camping or on roadside or beach is free for the enjoying. Even 5 or 10 minutes of journeying away from traveled ways will many times bring you to uninhabited places where there are no restrictions other than those having to do with decency and the keeping of unspoiled country inviolate. With the cost of lodging and meals being what they are today, camping out can result in a very considerable savings. For food, you need spend little, if any more, than you would at home. Rent can be non-existent. You'll require gasoline, but this you would need anyway on such a trip. Furthermore, you will be free to turn wherever fancy lures you instead of being tied to a consideration of restaurant and motel stops. Shelter and sleep. Of primary importance in the matter of shelter, you may, it is true, sleep in your automobile or in the cabin of your boat. While these will be available in cases of necessity, there is generally the problem of luggage. Besides, when you halt, you usually want to get your feet on the ground and stretch your legs. At some particularly appealing a location, you may wish to stay for days using your ready transportation for daily trips to nearby attractions. So we tackle the subject of tents. Your tent for such vacations should be one that can be easily and quickly pitched. Besides being commodious, it may well be wind, water, and bug-proof. Certainly, it should ensure privacy. Its own clean floor will be appreciated in public places. For family parties, and particularly for groups including women, probably the best all-around solution is the previously described umbrella tent. Models, including some with extra rooms in the form of side shelters, can be secured to accommodate any reasonably small and congenial unit. The umbrella tent also has the virtue of affording sufficient headroom for moving erect anywhere within it, a particular convenience for those unaccustomed to the usual limitations of canvas. It is expensive, yes, but its price tag is smaller than what the tab would be in a week's room and board for 3 at a motel. Given reasonable care, such a tent is good for a decade or more. In it, you may, if you wish, use folding canvas beds, complete with blankets, sheets, and pillows from home. The cost of special bedding will thus be eliminated. Such an arrangement, too, will appeal particularly to the feminine sector. With a cot, however, some form of mattress will be necessary for warmth except in the hottest weather. Least bulky will be a blanket or 2 folded beneath you. An air mattress adds no warmth to a canvas cot, and furthermore is uncomfortable when not laid on a firm surface. In windy country, you may find it prudent to secure your umbrella or similar tent with added guy ropes and perhaps even to collapse it when leaving camp for the day. Miner's tent. Particularly for the seashore, the wind-scoured desert, and the open plains, the small miner's tent is a functional choice for a party of not more than 3. The simple pyramidal model stands up better than most in the gales and the savagely enveloping storms you often encounter in such terrain. It is extremely easy to pitch. All you usually need, except when guys may be advisable, is a simple jointed pole and a few stakes. When there is something such as a sufficiently rigid branch from which you can suspend a single line hitched to the peak, not even the pole is necessary. You can also stretch a rope into position for this purpose. Whelen lean-to. Many automobiles report that the Many automobilists report that the Whelen lean-to tent, already considered in detail, works out well when pitched beside a car. All you have to do is throw and tie the front hood over the car top and to stake down the rear wall. Enter by lifting either sidewall and you have immediate access to the interior of the vehicle from the tent. If you move the car, the shelter must come down. This involves no particular inconvenience as the Whelen lean-to is so easily put up again. Cooking. Don't count too much on using wood fires. You will likely have to camp in many places where either firewood is not obtainable or where such blazes are in fact prohibited. The 2 or 3 burner gasoline stove is usually the favorite solution. With it, you will require a safe container in which to carry fuel. Kitchen and eating utensils can take up a lot of room unless you adopt one of the previously discussed sets of nesting pans, pots, cups, bowls, plates, and other such necessities. You are sure to need a lot of water in your campsite, and the source may be some distance away. Collapsible canvas buckets are procurable. For your particular use, 2 galvanized pails will be cleaner and more convenient, however. These can nest inside one another, and you will be able to pack safely within them items particularly susceptible to leakage or breakage. A large pan for washing dishes, as well as clothes, and a wash basin for personal use will also be desirable. A small refrigerator chest may be what you want for keeping meat and other perishables fresh in warm weather. Regular ice will work better in this than will dry ice. The latter not only will freeze anything that comes too close to it, but it will not last as long as the regular ice. A good idea, by the way, is to get this small refrigerator as cold as possible before you leave home. Food may to some extent be packed in small waterproof bags and in cans, and these carried in a compact grub box, or you can devise and build a kitchen cabinet of your own, which, when you're motoring, will fit in the baggage compartment of your car. This may be comprised of drawers, compartments, racks, and the like, all of which secure by a door that will let down for use as both a kitchen and serving table. Another item we'll particularly appreciate in camps of this sort is the thermos bottle. With it, you can enjoy steaming hot coffee even before breakfast is ready. Outfit. An axe enclosed in a safe sheath during travel will be needed for driving tent stakes and for clearing ground. If you travel very far back of beyond, it may be required for removing trees and other obstructions from secondary roads and small watercourses. You can never tell when one of these is going to be invaluable. A light Hudson Bay model that one of us always keeps in his station wagon recently saved a man's life on a major highway by cutting him free of a wrecked truck. A rugged folding saw will also frequently pay its own way. Naturally, you will include a kit of tools for maintenance and repair of car or boat. Furniture and lights. When transportation offers little problem, there is no reason why you should sit on the ground and eat your meals from your lap. By all means, take a folding table and camp chairs. If you have the room, let the latter have arms and backs so that everyone can lounge and relax. The turning on of the lights in your car may, especially in public campgrounds, disturb nearby vacationists. A universal solution to this problem is the carrying of a pressure lantern and a protective case together with extra mantles. The better of these provide excellent camp illumination. You can also procure one of the small electric lights which draining little plower plugs into the lighter socket on the dashboard. At least one small flashlight is also advisable. Personal effects. Each camper should have, preferably, a waterproof duffel bag opening along its entire length in which to pack personal effects. A small suitcase will do, of course. You will probably want to include clothing for stormy or dusty going. At a few public campgrounds, you may wish to mingle socially with other parties, and some fairly presentable sports clothes may then be desirable. This will remain less wrinkled if carried folded in a regular wardrobe case or in one of the fabric containers that may be hung up at full length wherever you have the space. If a woman is along, she may particularly appreciate one of the Coleman gasoline irons. While many campgrounds have bathhouses and showers, there may be other stopovers where you cannot get down to a stream or lake shore to wash up, but may have to dress and perform your toilet in the privacy of your tent. You should be prepared for this. If you are accustomed to an electric razor, incidentally, a small converter may be secured at small cost. Plugged into the lighter receptacle of your car, this will enable the use of your regular implement. Then there is the sporting equipment, guns, rods, cameras, and other such choice companions of the outdoor hour, which only the consideration of space, weight, and of our dwindling means ever give us the fortitude to resist. Selecting the best route. Travel services are maintained by many of the principal oil companies along those concerns, employing tourist representatives who, at no cost to you except a 2-cent postcard, will map out special routes, suggest stopovers, list attractions and accommodations, and even furnish detailed information on hunting and fishing. Our Amoco, Atlantic Sites Services, Esso, Gulf, Humble, Shell, Sinclair, Scony Vacuum, Sunco, Texaco, Union, and a number of the Standard Oil Company corporations. All these we have personally tried, some as a matter of fact even furnish through their retailers stamped inquiry cards, because the addresses of these free tourist bureaus occasionally change. The best sources for them are the various filling stations. There is no charge nor obligation, and usually a pertinent or comprehensive package of maps and literature is soon forthcoming by mail. We have always found it profitable to present the same problems to several such agencies at once, because one often has information about detours and other conditions about which the others are not yet aware. Making extra space. It seems all along that you are going to have plenty of room, then all of a sudden when you start to stow the outfit in your car, space becomes a problem. One answer may be a car top rack, obtainable from most outdoor outfitters, on which anything from a boat to a hodgepodge of luggage can be carried without damaging the vehicle. A similar solution that perhaps will afford just enough extra room may be the removal of the back seat. Even if someone is going to ride there, filling in the gap with such essentials as tentage and sleeping equipment will provide, with a little arranging, a sufficiently comfortable vantage point for not too long a journey. Tent trailer. 2 small and light trailer arrangements are also available to the camper who prefers mobility to even limited luxury. The first of these is the tent trailer. This is little more than a simple 2-wheel box covered by a tent that can be raised and lowered by a frame that folds flat across 2 permanent bunks when you are ready to roll. Storage space is provided beneath and between these beds. For teardrop trailers. Next, along the path to sumptuousness is the small teardrop trailer with its permanent double bed, accessible through small doors at either side. This resembles nothing quite so much as a portable upper berth. There is less living area. With the tent trailer, you can at least sit on the edge of your bunk with your feet on the floor. The 2-wheel teardrop is all bed except for a rear compartment covered by a hinge panel which lifts into position as a sort of roof. Here, some sort of cooking, refrigeration, and food and water sorting arrangements can be assembled to provide an always-ready kitchen. Prices for both of these highly mobile 2-wheel camps range upwards to about $500, which does not include such considerations as hitch, insurance, and extra wiring. For Benedicts, before you set forth, go over all the preceding items. Unless you are a bachelor, make out a checklist with 3 columns. One for the essentials, a second for things you will need only for special trips in certain localities, and the third for grub. Paste this list, if that is what you have to settle for, on a durable card or board. Have it at hand when you pack for the start. At that time, check off items one by one as a safeguard against going off and forgetting something indispensable. Such an oversight may mean backtracking and even the endurance of a certain amount of ironic comment, particularly from the distaff side of the expedition. Once after getting 200 miles on our way and pulling over at an ideally sequestered spot for lunch, we found that because of someone's oversight, the grub box had been left in the cellar. That was a calamity indeed. For bachelors can take advantage of the visual and highly functional practice of building little piles at one end of the most convenient room, cooking equipment in one, clothes in another, flies and other fishing necessities in the third, and so on. When you find you are lacking a certain item, a note to that effect placed in the proper group will serve as a reminder. Being ready. Before you start on your trip, do you know how to use every piece of equipment? Even if you've been heading into the tall timber by yourself for years, you may be a little perplexed by the intricacies of a tent procured for family use. When you are accustomed to lonely campfires, even one of the simpler gasoline stoves may be puzzling at first. A sound procedure is to do any necessary experimenting beforehand in the backyard. Let the entire group pitch in, each handling the particular assignments that will be his duty on a journey. Try a sample meal of the more difficult foods. Include washing all the utensils and repacking them when you finish. Time check all chores so that you know how early in the afternoon you will need to stop to make a pleasant camp. With such an outfit, there is no reason why everyone from 8 to 80 cannot be as agreeably comfortable as at home.